we spent the whole of this morning drawing the program on how we are going to move from sub-county to sub-county. KIBUKU has got 92 parishes. It has got 22 sub-counties and 405 villages across the whole district. So the district executive has been convened this morning to review the first day of the parish-based campaign, which we started yesterday. We learned a lot of things yesterday, and we've adopted what we felt works, and we've dropped what we felt didn't work. So starting tomorrow, we are going to be going to KIBUKU County, KIBUKU sub-county. In the morning, we shall be meeting the leaders, the 36 people, the 63 people from every village within that sub-county. We shall be meeting them in the morning, then starting at 11 with the candidates, we shall do our rallies as normal as we've always done. So what changed from our learning of yesterday is that we are not going to combine rallies and meetings. So we have progressed in our plan. That's number one. Starting next week, we shall be doing a sub-county in Kabweri County, and then we shall go to KIBUKU County, do a sub-county the following day. That allows us to stretch across the constituency. What is it that we bring new? You see, I've explained to everybody that the foundation has been laid. Everybody can see that the NRM government has laid the foundation for an economic takeoff. Electricity is being distributed across the communities. The roads are being made. Anybody can see that. Peace and security exist, so people are able to do their economic activities. In many other things, you can see there is a macroeconomic stability. Our level of inflation is not that bad. Our economic growth rates oscillates between 3.4 and 4.6. Our inflation has been managed. What remains now is for us to use that as a foundation to start to get to wealth. And the difference between wealth and development is that development is for everybody. The roads are public, electricity is public, and all these things are public. But individuals can only thrive and make wealth at individual level. All those infrastructure I've talked about, the roads, electricity, and all these things, are helping us to start to look for a way of making money into our pockets. So what I have been explaining to everybody is that one of our biggest problems is poverty, and poverty at individual level. And we want to encourage people to find interventions that put money in the pockets. We will think together with the various leaders to ensure that we move through that transition and we utilize the basic infrastructure that the NRM has built to start to put money in the pockets of people. We've talked about how do we create jobs for those who want to work. We've talked about how do we ensure that people have the skills to prepare themselves for an economic stage 4, which is a stage of high mass consumption, where people are able to work and make money. And I've explained to everybody that we are an agricultural area, but we do not have enough resources to practice agriculture at a commercial level, one of which is the shortage of land. An average person in this community has got 0.5 acres of land. An average person in this community is married to 4 wives. An average family here has got a multiplicity of children from different women. That even if a man at a household level has got 4 acres, they have already been partitioned amongst the family members. The rivalry at a household level cannot permit these members to unite this land. So the 4-acre model, which the president has been promoting, is a good stuff. But practically, it might be very difficult to implement within this community. So then we have to start to think about what else. What intervention works? From an economic point of view, we need to look for ways of promoting an economic activity, because we are one of the areas that lack an economy. If you go to Western Uganda, they rear cows. A cow is called ente. Ente is sente. You just put S at the beginning and you have sente. The current matoke that I've just been eating, I learned that actually they come from the center, from Western Uganda. Majority of the meat that you buy come from the milk. So they have an economy. The Karamojongo here, they have started exporting stone dust and stones for cement to Tororo. They have an economy starting there. The people of Elgon have got coffee, and therefore they have an economy. The Baganda have coffee. They have an economy, an activity that produces money for our people. We do not have it. And what brings me in politics is to question ourselves. What can we do? There was a strategic plan, Bugwere strategic plan. We defined crops that are commercially viable within this region. We said coffee, cocoa, that can salvage this community in a longer term, because cocoa requires about 4 or 5 years, and so is coffee, for it to start to give returns. But still, it's at a pilot stage. Nobody has yet proved that coffee grown in this community, or cocoa, has changed that household. So we are thinking through. I have proposed to government that government can put resources in this ginnery, in Bulangira, so that as we ponder on which economic activity, we focus on making that ginnery function to produce cooking oil, to produce animal feeds, to produce soap and plastics. You will have started to create an economy. You're employing between 1,000 and 3,000 people directly, but creating jobs to many other people across the region. Just like Sino in Zimbabwe. This ginnery needs money from government, which you can call it a bailout, because the owner seems to have run bankrupt and he needs government to support them to start production. That is our take of things. We shall be looking at things that remove money from the pockets of people so that money stays in the pocket. One of them is to ensure that when a person falls sick, they go to the hospital, a public hospital, without spending money. There is universal primary education, there is universal secondary school. All you need to do is to ensure that you create confidence in the public that if you took your child to these schools, they will pass, they will learn, and everybody will be happy. And I have said that continue with the infrastructure development, good roads, electricity in the different communities, such that you continue to grow the basis for an economic takeoff. Uganda today is oscillating between, is transiting towards an economic takeoff. If you understand the 5 stages of economic development according to Rostos, we are between the last part of the second stage and the third stage. We need to move towards the first stage and then go to the mass industrialization at the 5th stage. So we don't want to be left behind. What I have told people is that how do we make politics friendly? That people go into politics without hurting each other, without leaving bitter tastes. How do we do that? I have said that. How do we make politics seasonal without making politics a full-time job for both politicians and supporters? Because here in this community now, people are not working. People are drawn from place to place. They are not in any productive activity. How do we ensure that people look at politics in that context? So we shall be sensitizing people along the way. We cannot say we shall do everything. We want to lay a foundation for those to come. We cannot ignore this plight that we see of our people. You cannot be comfortable to imagine your community being regarded as the downtrodden, and you stay in Kampala and you're comfortable. Our work as leaders, we shall take this voice to the floor of Parliament. who will demand for services, who will demand for an action on areas that we think government should do. We shall make the voices of our people heard. We shall draw the attention of government to the plight of our people. That is the role of a member of parliament. I am very sure they will listen. That's what we plan to do. We shall advocate for an affirmative action along the 360-degree socio-economic activities. That we are also Ugandans. We deserve good services. We deserve an economic activities. We deserve to move like any other Ugandan. That advocacy is going to be one of the things we are going to put up in the parliament.